It's a reasonable solution, depending on the terms to which the two states are constructed. Basically, parts of Israel who are now 95% Arab population and 5% less, should stay at Arab control. Some regions are beyond debate, like regions around Jerusalem, no Jewish person lives there. Gaza Strip, of course. The main debate is around the buffer zone between those regions, which people who are actually mostly religious people stay there. Therefore, they don't want to leave, and they think it's their own. It's actually written in the Bible that they have to preserve the Holy Land.
You're talking about Jews?
Yeah. What's called mitnachlim, people who actually live right in the center of Arab settlements.
Like in the West Bank?
Exactly. So basically, if you're familiar with geography, basically the region around Jerusalem, it's actually theirs. So I see no point of holding on to it. Gaza Strip the same. The problem is that you have a lot of regions that neither side will make a decision. Some Arab regions, people who are the majority Arabs, do not want to live under a different state because they have a pretty sweet life living here. So they get social security and they get jobs and they have everything they want. And they would never want to trade that for living under a state which, first at the beginning, will be poor, will be corrupted, and most likely be torn up in wars most of the time, as you can see from now. So, I'm all for it, but I don't think it's a practical solution. You would think that a person who defines himself first Arab, then Israeli, would actually like the idea of becoming a part of an Arab state. But several years ago, there's a place up north that actually was talked about actually giving it to the Arab state, making it part of an Arab state, and that caused a lot of demonstrations and riots. And
by who?
Arabs. So it's complicated. The Arabs, they want to have it both ways. They want to live in a country when they get good social security because they have many kids, so they have a good social security. They get good jobs, education is fine. Basically, life in Israel, if you compare it to Lebanon, Syria, anywhere around us, is great. Actually, it's a modern country. But on the other hand, they hate us. So they want to eat the pie, That's I think the biggest threat to Israel's security.
What is?
Arab Israelis. I think when war will come, and it will come, the first thing that will happen is we will have insurgents inside our country. All the cities who are majority Arabs will become enemy stronghold. Some would stay. Some would stay even though they like the Arab country more than they like us ideologically, but practically it's more convenient here. And some would move.
What do you think should happen?
They should all move.
They should all leave.
Segregation.
What about Jews inside the West Bank?
They should leave us. It's like a snowball, because if you have a Jewish settlement inside an Arab region, you would have to have presence of the army in order to protect the settlement. So when you have the army inside, frictions are bound to happen. So naturally, without anything happening, it actually brings up it escalates everything escalates. Without anything, with nothing to base it on.
The presence of the army creates animosity.
Exactly, because if you have presence of the army, being in the army, having served in the army, I know that when people are actually trying to get to work and you create a roadblock and you stop them and you search them, and if people and some soldiers, and I admit that I was like that also, are rude and offensive and violent. So and think about a person who's trying to go to work, and because of the 3 houses on the hill, he has to go through a roadblock, which on any other gate can actually get beaten up or shot at worst case scenario. So that creates animosity instantaneously, because you have soldiers and you have guns and you have people telling you what to do for no reason. I'm again talking from their point of view.
I want to know your point of view also.
My point of view is that they shouldn't live there, but the buffer zone should be heavily guarded. So if we get the two-state separation, they don't come in, they don't come into our country, we don't come into their country. Ever. We don't need it because some factions inside the Arab country want us dead. Makes sense. Some factions in our country also want them dead. And being that they rely on Israel for work, so we always have to let people in. If we can let people in, 99.9% of people just looking for a job, 0.1% is a terrorist looking to plant a bomb or poison a restaurant or.
So you think that if you give them their independence, they'll still want to bomb you?
Yes.
Why?
That's the definition of religious fundamentalism.
What's the definition?
People who are raised on the assumption, on the belief that we are infidels and this country is theirs. As long as we are here, they cannot be complete. Same thing in Israel. Jewish people, extremely religious Jewish people, are aware that every Arab living on Israeli soil should perish. So the conflict itself cannot be resolved logically. There's too much bad blood, too much people who have lost friends, too many casualties. People are beyond logic. I for one, having lost a lot of friends in the army, will not hear logic. I know logically that not all Arabs are bad and not all Jews are bad. But I don't care. It is gone beyond logic. I hate all of them.
And what about Arabs in Jerusalem? What do you think should happen to Jerusalem?
East Jerusalem should be property. Because East Jerusalem is an Arab country for all purposes necessary.
You propose it should be like Berlin?
No, not Berlin, but Jerusalem could be, because again, Jerusalem is very important both to Jewish people and both to Arab people. It's like the sacred city. So maybe that could be like, an international city. Maybe make it like a buffer zone. Like nobody has control over it and everybody can actually live inside it. But again, this will never work.
Why?
Because some people, it only takes 3 persons with guns or bombs on either side to ruin it for everybody else.
So what do you think is going to happen?
War.
And then what?
Whoever wins, wins.
Everything.
Yeah.
And kill everyone else.
I don't know, kill everyone else, but a war is coming, no doubt about it. At some point in the next years, Israel will be tested militarily. So we will have an attack by Egypt, Lebanon, Syria, Iran, of course. And how we deal with this war will actually decide our fate. If we go all out and really let the army do what it does best, people will flee the country. It happened at 1948.